Some filmmakers peak early, delivering a couple of strong hits and then fizzling out of existence, while others have long, fruitful, ever-evolving careers. Which one is Taika Waititi? I guess you'll have to watch to find out. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Josh. Today we're going to be talking about Next Goal Wins. This is a PG-13 comedy directed and I believe written by Taika Waititi. You may know him from things such as Jojo Rabbit, Thor Ragnarok, and Thor Love and Thunder. Those are the three that I've seen. There are others that I haven't managed to check out yet. This film is based on the true story of the American Samoa soccer team. They were long regarded as quite possibly the worst soccer team internationally. For many years, not only did they not have a single win to their name, but they also hold the world record for the absolute worst win in the history of soccer, suffering a 31-0 loss. So this disgruntled coach, played by Michael Fassbender, is sent to try to repair them and bring them together as a team so that they can actually see some success before they're snuffed out of existence. And thus we have our basic underdog David versus Goliath story. We've seen this time and time again. There have been good ones this year, there have been bad ones this year. Gran Turismo is an example of a perfectly fine underdog story that works within the confines of its formula, but also stands out thanks to a few good performances and a few good writing choices. As much as I wanted to like this, I think it falls into the category of too formulaic and too much Waititi. To answer the question that I posed in my intro, I think Taika has kind of fallen off the rails. We saw a bit of that decline with Thor Love and Thunder, at least if you side with me on that film, and I thought that that film was a complete cringe fest with horrible humor that was overused. Unfortunately, a lot of the humor in this movie does follow suit in what he did with Love and Thunder. For instance, at the very beginning of the film, there's a character who loses a bet, and because of that, he has boobs drawn on his face with a Sharpie. If that sounds stupid, it's probably because it is, and the issue is that 90% of the humor in this movie is that. It's low-hanging fruit, it's not clever. Waititi is trying so hard to be clever and quirky and just bizarre, and it comes off as pandering, and I'm not going to say there weren't jokes in the movie that made me laugh, but a vast majority of them felt that way to me. I'll say this, Michael Fassbender will never not be a captivating lead. He's one of my favorite actors working today. I can't not like him in a movie, so I have to say that he was good as this coach, Thomas Rongen, I think his name is. I guess that tells you how forgettable the characters and the writing are if I don't even remember the main character's name. Just like all the other characters in this, though, he mutters absolute idiotic dialogue through most of it, but Fassbender makes it watchable. I also have to give Oscar Knightley credit as Tavita. He's another member of the coaching staff. The guy was pretty funny. You can tell his charisma was coming through on screen and somehow able to slide past Taika Waititi's really weird sense of humor. Notice I'm talking a lot about the cast and praising them because I think the story here just doesn't cut it. Not only is it excessively predictable and formulaic, but it also has no idea what tone it wants to go for. I mean, I have stated that 90% of it is a slapstick, goofy comedy, but then there are a couple scenes that are actually trying to be super serious, and they feel like they come in out of nowhere. I feel like I complain about tones conflicting a lot, but in this case, it just really bugged me. Another problem is that the story here does a piss poor job of establishing a team dynamic and getting us to really care about the players, with one or two exceptions. And as I'm sitting here recording this, it's reminding me of the film that I saw earlier this year, Champions, which was with Woody Harrelson, who is the disgruntled basketball coach who is sent to go train with the Special Olympics. Very similar basic plot. But what I think that film did better, and I don't think it's great or anything, but it established a team dynamic. It got us up close and personal with a couple of the different players to really get us to care for them and want to see them succeed, which made the third act all the more satisfying when they actually were able to pull together as a team. Here, most of the players are given next to no characterization. Really what they're given are quirks, like there will be one player who slides far too often, he trips and falls a lot, that's his quirk. Another character, right when he gains possession of the ball, he stands there and prays for a few seconds instead of kicking the ball right away, and because of that he usually loses possession. And none of these are obstacles that these characters ever overcome in the film, they're just there usually to get a joke out of. It just doesn't work, and I understand this could be a matter of taste, because I know Thor Love and Thunder does have its share of fans out there, and I think in terms of what the jokes are like, Next Goal Wins is kind of similar in that regard. But I know I don't stand alone when I say that I didn't find a lot of the humor in this to be funny. Because a lot of the humor in this film, I mean, it was just crickets in the audience, so I knew I wasn't alone in that sentiment. I'm really let down because I genuinely think Jojo Rabbit is fantastic. I've rewatched Thor Ragnarok so many times, and I still think it's one of the best MCU movies. It had a great blend of character drama and humor. This movie, it wants to go all humor, except for a couple of weirdly placed scenes. Also, there's a subplot about Thomas being really bigoted towards one of the players, and he spends a large portion of the film kind of getting to know this person and learning to respect them more. The way it was executed was extremely cringy to me, and quite frankly, extremely melodramatic. Taika, I really want to believe you didn't just capture lightning in a bottle with those first few films. I want him to create some more good cinema, but this just wasn't it. For next goal wins, let's go with a 2 out of 5 stars. Again, it pains me to do that because I feel like I've been so negative lately. I think that's the same rating I've given like the last 4 films that I've reviewed. So let me put one last disclaimer in here. If you really jive with his type of humor, if you watched Thor Love and Thunder and laughed a lot, maybe you'll like this too. As for the rest of us, let's just hope that he can regain his mojo. Alright, I'm turning it to you guys now. This film doesn't come out for another week or so, at least in terms of wide release. But once you see it, do let me know in the comments, what did you think of it? And which film from Taika Waititi is your favorite? As always, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later.